Last year I took my first flight alone. I was very excited, but I was also very nervous. I'd never traveled alone before. This was a big step for me. I needed to visit my cousin in another city. She lived far away from my hometown. Usually I travel with my family, but this time I had to go alone. The night before my flight, I could not sleep well. I packed my suitcase many times. First, I put my clothes inside. Then I checked my ticket again and again. I was afraid of forgetting something important. In the morning, I woke up very early. My flight was at 9 a.m. My father drove me to the airport. On the way, I looked out of the car window. I felt quiet and a little scared. When we arrived at the airport, everything looked big and busy. There were many people with suitcases. Some people were laughing. Some people looked tired. I felt small in that big place. My father helped me find the check-in desk. The woman at the desk smiled at me. She asked for my passport and ticket. My hands were shaking a little, but I tried to smile. After I got my boarding pass, it was time to say goodbye. My father hugged me. He said, "You can do this." His words gave me strength. I walked to the security area alone. At security, I put my bag on the belt. I walked through the machine slowly. I was afraid something would go wrong, but everything was fine. I felt a little more confident. Then I waited at the gate. I sat near the window and watched the airplanes. They looked so big and powerful. I thought, soon I will be inside one of them. My heart was beating fast. Finally, they called my flight number. People started to stand up and line up. I followed them quietly. I showed my boarding pass to the staff. Then I walked into the airplane. Inside the plane, I looked for my seat. It was next to the window. I was happy about that. I put my bag under the seat and sat down. I took a deep breath. A kind woman sat next to me. She smiled and said hello. I told her it was my first flight alone. She said, "Don't worry, flying is safe." Her voice was calm and friendly. When the plane started to move, I felt nervous again. The engines were loud. The plane moved faster and faster. Then suddenly we were in the air. My stomach felt strange. I looked out of the window. The houses became smaller and smaller. The roads looked like thin lines. Soon we were above the clouds. The view was beautiful. The clouds looked like white mountains. The sky was bright blue. In that moment, I forgot my fear. I felt free and happy. I felt proud of myself. During the flight, I listened to music. I also read a small book. The time passed slowly but peacefully. Sometimes I looked outside again. I could not believe I was flying alone. After some time, the captain spoke. He said we would land soon. I felt excited again. I also felt stronger than before. I did it. I was really doing it. When the plane landed, everyone clapped. I smiled. I turned to the woman next to me and said thank you. She wished me a nice trip. I felt brave. I walked out of the plane with confidence. I followed the signs to the exit. This time I was not afraid. I felt independent. When I saw my cousin at the airport, I ran to her. She hugged me tightly. She said, "I'm proud of you." Hearing that made me very happy. That day I learned something important. Sometimes we feel afraid, but fear does not mean we cannot do something. It only means we are doing something new. My first flight alone was not just a trip. It was a lesson. It taught me to trust myself. It taught me to be brave. Now, when I think about that day, I smile, because that was the day I grew up a little more. After I hugged my cousin, we walked to her car. She asked me about the flight. I smiled and said, "It was scary but beautiful." She laughed and said, "Now you are a traveler." On the way to her house, I looked outside again. This city was different from mine. The buildings were taller. The streets were busier. Everything felt new. At first, I felt a little uncomfortable. New places can feel strange. New sounds can feel loud. But I remembered something. I'd just taken a flight alone. If I could do that, I could do other things too. The next day, my cousin had to go to work. She said, "You can stay at home or you can explore." I thought for a moment. Staying home was easy. Exploring was scary. But I did not come here to hide. I came here to grow. So I decided to go out alone. I checked the map on my phone. There was a small cafe near the house. It was only 10 minutes away. My heart started to beat fast again. It was a simple walk. But for me, it was another small challenge. When I entered the cafe, I felt shy. There were many people inside. They were talking and laughing. I stood near the door for a few seconds. Then I walked to the counter. The barista smiled and said, "Hello, what would you like?" I spoke slowly but clearly. "I would like a coffee, please." It was a simple sentence, but it felt like a victory. I paid for my coffee and sat near the window. The sun was shining outside. I took a small sip. It was warm and comforting. In that moment, I realized something important. Confidence does not come in one big moment. It comes in small steps. First, I booked the ticket. Then I packed my suitcase. Then I said goodbye. Then I flew alone. Now I was sitting in a cafe in a new city. Each step was small, but together they were big. Later that week, my cousin showed me around the city. We visited a museum. We walked in a big park. We tried new food. One evening, we stood on a bridge and watched the sunset. The sky was orange and pink. The river was calm. The city lights slowly turned on. My cousin looked at me and said, "You look different." I asked, "Different how?" She smiled and said, "You look more confident." I thought about her words. Maybe she was right. I felt different inside. Before this trip, I often said, "I can't. I'm afraid. What if something goes wrong?" Now I was thinking, maybe I can. I will try. What if everything goes right? A few days later, it was time to go home. This time, I was not nervous at the airport. I walked with steady steps. I knew where to go. At the check-in desk, I felt calm. At security, I felt relaxed. At the gate, I sat with confidence. When the plane took off, I smiled. I looked out of the window again. The clouds were still beautiful. But this time I was not afraid. I felt strong. During the flight, I thought about my life. There are many things I want to do. Learn new skills. Visit new places. Meet new people. Maybe I will feel fear again. That is normal. But now I understand something. Fear is not the end. It is the beginning of growth. When the plane landed in my hometown, I felt proud. Not because I traveled, not because I flew, but because I did not let fear control me. At the airport, my father was waiting for me. When he saw me, he smiled. He asked, how was your trip? I answered with confidence, "It was amazing." On the way home, I looked out of the window again. The same streets, the same buildings. But I was not the same person. Sometimes life gives us small chances to grow. A flight, a conversation, a new place. We can say no, or we can say yes. That first flight alone changed me. It showed me that I am stronger than I think. It showed me that I can trust myself. Now, when I face something new, I remember the airport. I remember the clouds. I remember that nervous feeling. And I tell myself, if I could fly alone, I can do this too. Because sometimes the scariest step is the one that makes us the bravest version of ourselves.